Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for October 18th, 2020 to order with roll call, please.
Collier.
Here.
Cavelli. McAlpine. Walrath.
Here.
Weinhammer. Here.
Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dudek. Sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now moving to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment of any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. I have nobody signed in. Is there anybody here that would like to address the village board? None said. I'll close open forum at 6:01. I have a couple of proclamations this evening. The first one is National Red Ribbon Week, Celebrate Life, Be Drug-Free, whereas substance abuse is particularly damaging to one of our most valuable resources, our children, and a contributing factor to these three leading causes of death, teenagers, accidents, homicides, and suicides, and whereas it is the goal of Red Ribbon Week in the Village of Cary to involve families, schools, businesses, churches, law enforcement agencies, and service organizations in all aspects of this campaign and establish an atmosphere that supports awareness, education, and ongoing initiatives to prevent illegal drug use. And whereas the Red Ribbon Week campaign theme promotes family and individual responsibilities for living healthy, drug-free lifestyles without illegal drugs or illegal use of legal drugs. Now, therefore, I, Mark Kounick, Mayor of the Village of Cary, do hereby proclaim October 23rd through the 31st, 2022 as National Red Ribbon Week in the Village of Cary, dated this 18th day of October 2022. The next one is a proclamation for World Polio Day, October 24th, 2024, whereas the Rotary Club of Cary Grove is a member of the Rotary International, the world's first and still one of its largest nonprofit service organizations, founded in Chicago, Illinois in 1905, and whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus and spearheaded the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to immunize all the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by over 99.9% since 1988, and the world now stands on the threshold of eradicating this dreaded disease and thereby eliminating the threat of polio-caused paralysis to every child in the world. Now, therefore, I, Mark Kounick, Mayor of the Village of Cary, do hereby proclaim October 24th, 2022 as World Polio Day in the Village of Cary, and do hereby encourage all residents to join Rotarians of the Rotary Club of Cary Grove in the fight for polio-free world, dated this 18th day of October 2022. Any trustee reports? None said. Moving to the consent agenda, I will entertain a motion to consider for approval consent agenda items A through G as shown on the village website and as displayed on the video monitor during the village board meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
McAlpine.
Yes.
Weinhammer.
Yes.
Dudek.
Yes.
Walrath.
Yes.
Collier.
Yes.
Cavelli.
Thank you. Moving to items for separate action. We have one thing on the agenda for tonight. I will entertain a motion to approve the receipt and acceptance of the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2022, and the auditor's required communication letter.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Jake, you can start this off.
Yep. Mayor, Village Board, this evening we have Mr. Ed Tracy from Selden Fox, who serves as the village's auditor. Ed's going to walk us through the audit and the results of the financial audit for this last fiscal year.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here this evening. I feel like this meeting's just for me.
Kind of is.
So we conducted our audit. Most of our field work was done in August and finished up in September. Got a draft to the management in the end of September, beginning of October, and now we're here to present the final reports to you. As part of our audit, we made 7 adjustments to the fund financial statements. Some of these were kind of done with from supporting documentation provided by management. Some were done as a result of our procedures. Within the water and sewer fund, we record depreciation and then capital asset additions as well. And one major adjustment we made in consultation with management was to defer the ARPA revenue money that came in. So your revenues do not reflect the ARPA funds this year. They're deferred revenue. Will be recognized probably next year when they're utilized. Having said that, we also take a look at internal controls. We test those controls to make sure that they're operating as designed. Our testing did not produce any uncleared exceptions, so we found that the controls were in place and operating effectively. And so therefore, we did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the control structure that we would have to bring to your attention. As far as the audit report itself is concerned, it will be submitted to the GFOA for a Certificate of Achievement and of Excellence in Financial Reporting. Last year's report also received this honor, and we fully expect that this will as well. Our opinion on the financial statements is an unmodified opinion. That's the highest form of assurance that we can give that the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principles for local governments. The opinion looks a little different. Our independent auditor's report does look a little different than what it's looked like in the past. It's a new opinion. Our standards that we adhere to kind of modified the wording within the opinions to try to really highlight the responsibilities not only for us as auditors but also management as it relates to the financial statements. Just a couple highlights from within the financial statements themselves. The general fund reported a positive bottom line of about $1.5 million before transfers out of $300,000. And at the end of the year, your fund balance approximates 1 year's worth of annual expenses. Revenues were $1.8 million over budget, and expenses were about $100,000 under budget. So expenses pretty close to budget. Revenues outperformed expectations, mainly because of the uncertainty that started at the beginning of the year with COVID. That $1.8 million excess versus budget was primarily from income taxes, replacement taxes, and sales taxes, which combined made up about $1.6 million of that excess. The other major fund is the water and sewer fund, and that had a positive bottom line of about $1.6 million. There were some significant non-operating revenues there, connection fees, investment income, other income, which combined to be about $1 million this year. Revenues were about $200,000 over budget. Expenses were about $2.2 million under budget. But keep in mind that the water and sewer fund is an enterprise fund, so it records fixed assets within that fund, unlike the general fund where you just expense a fixed asset purchase. So we pulled out about $1.4 million of expenses and capitalized them on the balance sheet in the water and sewer fund. So if that counts for a lot of that $2.2 million under budget. So if you kind of net those two, the water and sewer fund was about $800,000 under budget on the expense side. As far as the pensions are concerned, the police pension fund is about 57% funded at the end of the year. That was down a little bit from the prior year. And there's a net pension liability that's reported within the government-wide financial statements of about $2.3 million. IMRF, on the other hand, is 109% funded. So you actually have a net pension asset of about $1.6 million. That's kind of what all IMRF members are seeing these days. There's been some really good earnings in IMRF investments in recent years, and that's contributed to the overfunded situation, and most places are seeing their employer contribution rates decreasing because of it. Again, I wanted to thank the finance department, Jacob, and everyone at the village for their assistance. We found that the process went smoothly this year. We were able to kind of keep our same staff, which helps on our end as well, and so I think it made for a smooth audit this year.
I think it's important to note, too, just from a fund balance standpoint within the general fund, the village board approved with our budget this last year a large transfer out of the general fund into capital projects. So there was, Ed had reported a larger fund balance, but we had a planned transfer to capital.
And that's the general fund has that ability to do that, so.
Anybody have any questions? No. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're in good health here.
And thank you to our finance staff too, Mike, his last audit that he's going through.
Is Mike listening out there? Michael, thank you very much.
I'm sure he is. Yeah. Mike and Kelly and Brian and Kim and Kyle and all of our finance staff. So appreciate their work with Ed and his team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Dudek,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Cavelli, McAlpine,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Yes.
Thank you. Administrator's report, Jake.
Mayor, Village Board, we just have a quick infographic here to share with you. Just want to remind our residents about trick-or-treat hours on Halloween coming up here pretty soon. Hope we have some nice weather, but trick-or-treating will be from 3 to 7 on Monday, October 31st. The leaves, I won't take Director Morimoto's thunder, so I'll leave that for him when we get to him. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Department head reports. Chief Finland.
Just a reminder that we have a drug take-back event on October 29th from 10 to 2 at the Municipal Center.
Director Morimoto.
Thank you for the intro, Jake. Yes, it is fall, so my annual public service announcement that we just encourage residents to not push leaves and blow leaves into the street and curb lines, as it does have some effects on our storm sewer system. So we appreciate the help with our residents and enjoy the cool weather.
Thank you. Any future agenda items in discussion by the village board? None said. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're all in favor. We are adjourned at 6:12. That is 2 minutes past what I said it was going to be.